Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Off Campus Podcast. First off, I really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be here, so thank you for that. Second, if you don't mind, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends. There's a whole lot to learn in this episode. It's free. You can always change your mind. It'd be a shame if someone missed it. So please do that if you don't mind. Again, I thank you. I really hope you enjoy this video, and I hope that you learn something that you will only learn off campus. Welcome back to the Off Campus Podcast. Today is another internal episode, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about purpose and youth. And I know those don't really sound hand in hand, but they are. And I'll explain that to you. So again, if you guys like this episode, please like it. And please share it. It means a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that I upload. So let's get right into it. Young men and men in total find their value in a lot of different things. Obviously, men and women are very different. I know society likes to tell us that they're not, that there's no differences between men and women, but there obviously is, and you would know this if you have spent any time around anyone of the opposite sex ever. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know that, yet people still try to convince you that there are no differences between men and women, which that's obviously absurd on its face.
Women.
On that note, I'm not really sure what women want. I don't think many men do. I don't think many women do. But I think when it comes to men finding value in themselves and actually what society finds valuable in men, there's a lot of different things. So I have them listed here. First is authority. Second, strength, responsibility. I wrote family, but I think it's more people to protect because if you're fortunate enough, you do have a family, a mother, father, and maybe some siblings, but you don't really feel inclined or responsible to protect them. Well, I guess responsibility is another one, but people to protect do bring you value and bring you value to yourself and to society and reputation. Now, I know a lot of these things might seem selfish, but it really isn't. It's what men have been yearning for centuries, for forever, I would say, is I think the main one is people to protect. And I think, and responsibility in general, I think that's really where most men find their value, which is why a lot of men like to work long hours. They like to, well, they might not like it, but it's the reason they do this stuff. And I think it's why society respects people who do hard things. So you'll notice that many people in society who are in shape, they're respected. And it's because, well, they go to the gym. Maybe they're not even doing anything too difficult. They've just done it every day for years, and they look really good because of that. Maybe they eat super healthy, and that's why, mixed with the exercise, why they look so good. And people respect that because it's not easy to sacrifice unhealthy food for healthy food. And exercise is not easy. It's way easier to sit on your couch, watch TV all day, play video games, I don't know, anything. Like, it's so much easier to do that than have to go take a trip to the gym, lift weights, which isn't particularly fun, but the benefits that you get from it, both physically and mentally, which I have talked about before, and emotionally, it heavily outweighs the sacrifice. It's really always worth it to get in shape. So if you're not in shape, here's your sign, get in shape. If you have any questions, I can kind of help you with it. I'm not like insanely in shape and I don't know a ton, but I know enough. And I would be glad to help you. I would be glad to help you, not just you in general, as speaking for everyone. I mean you in who's watching this right now, who wants to get in shape. Comment or DM me, anything. I don't care. And I will help you. I promise. Now, telling someone they're perfect the way they are. The problem with that phrase, I didn't really explain this already, but the problem with that phrase is there's no room for improvement. So, especially for young men who feel useless and demoralized because they're told they're evil in society.
Your dad is evil.
Which is really unfortunate that society has gone there and pushed towards men being bad people, which in reality, everyone's bad, but no one's more bad than another person. I mean, you could argue that, but from my beliefs and my views, I don't think anyone's better than anyone else, and I don't think anyone's really worse than anyone else. People do worse things. Doesn't make them worse people, and that's because we're all not perfect, which is also another problem with that phrase. But I want to say usually it's like moms saying this to their son who just lost a football game, and their son's like upset and he's like, I'm too short, I'm too small. And it does help that kid to hear that they're perfect the way he is, even though obviously he's not. But I think young men in particular, when they're told this kind of as a society and not, I mean, if you hear it from your mom, it's obviously different from it being pushed by society, but society pushes that everyone is perfect the way they are and that they should be their authentic self. Well, if you're a young man and you don't have a job, you don't have money, you don't have any type of wealth, not just money, any houses, you don't have a car, you don't have skills. If you're told you're perfect the way that you are and you shouldn't change, well, how demoralizing is that? Because there's no room for improvement. And I guess the real value that men find in life is potential and the fact that, well, life may be better in the future than it is now if you take the right direction and you take the right steps and you put in the work. I think for young men, that's where the will to live really comes. I don't know about women, so that's why I'm not really talking about it. But women, actually, if you're listening to this, these are certain things that you should be looking for in a partner. A man who really does yearn for a family to protect and works hard towards his reputation and strength, both physically and in any sphere. In job, in verbal strength is important too. If you can articulate your words very well and speak powerfully, that's important. In authority, that's important too. You, like women, you should be looking for these traits in men, because if they're not looking for these traits, then, well, I don't want to say they have something wrong with them, but they're definitely not pointing towards the right goal.
No, not you. Not you.
Now, I think for young men, what they have trouble with and what I had trouble with for a while. Now, I had great parents. I still have them. I was raised in a very fortunate circumstance, and my parents taught me ever since I was young to work hard at whatever I do. And so I actually got a job when I was 13. I was reffing flag football for $10 an hour, like 5 hours a week, just on Saturdays or something. I would even have 2-hour shifts, and they felt like forever. Now, if I had 2-hour shifts, well, that's like 15 minutes to me. But that's not the point. Basically, my dad kind of forced me to get a job really early. So one of the issues I had is working when I was young is I wanted adults to treat me like an adult. So I was reffing. I mean, the coaches for these teams were, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and I'm a 14-year-old kid. They're not taking me seriously because I'm 14, and I don't really look older than I am. I'm not very tall. I don't know. I never grow out a beard or anything, so I don't look older than I am. Especially when I was 14, I was skinny, very short. Obviously, I had no facial hair, so I didn't have that going for me. Everyone just treated me like a kid, and I didn't want that. And I think a lot of young men want to be treated like an adult, and that's super rare. And I think there's a lot of ways that you can get adults to see you as an adult and treat you like an adult. And I think you have to allow those adults to get to know you, and you have to be mature first. You can't act like a child and expect adults to treat you like adults. But I noticed, a little jump ahead, I started working at Home Depot when I was 18, and a lot of my coworkers, well, actually all my coworkers were older than me, and a lot of them were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, adults. They've lived their lives, a lot of them married and kids. Some of them have kids as old as me, but they treated me like an adult because they were able to get to know me. And I think that's important, is because I spent a lot of time with them, and the time that I spent with them, thanks to my parents and just the people I grew up around encouraging strong and hard work, is when I worked hard around these people, these adults that are way older than me, who have kids that are older than me, they still viewed me as an adult because I was able to orient myself as an adult, speak like an adult to them. And again, I don't want any glory for this. I don't take much credit for it. I just did what I was told. And luckily, I was told to work hard, and I was told these things. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't really know this stuff, which is kind of why I'm making this podcast. So I think a very important thing for young men to do is to get good at something. And this literally can be anything, because when you learn to get good at something, you will simultaneously learn skills that will make you good at many things. And I also forgot to preface this. This video is heavily inspired by Jordan Peterson. I've been listening to him a lot lately. I've listened to him for years now, but very recently I've been listening to him more, and I heard him talk about purpose and particularly young men, where they find their purpose. And yeah, like you said, just you need to find something to get good at. And this can be anything. And it also would help if you find something that you're scared of or maybe is difficult. So exercise is a really good one. Getting a job is a really good one. Maybe you want to get a job because you want money to, I don't know, go out golfing with your friends, or just spend money how you want. Maybe you want your own money instead of borrowing parents' money or whatever. So you want to get a job, but maybe you're scared to do an interview. Well, there you go. You found an obstacle to try and hurdle. And there's a lot more to it than just it being an interview and going in and having the interview. You have to learn how to, dress like an adult. You learn how to speak like an adult. You learn how to talk to another adult. And I mean, if you do the interview, you've already overcome the obstacle. And there's two possible directions that can go. Maybe you get the job, which is great. You start getting your own money. But even if you don't get the job, you have learned. And now you know how to do an interview.
I am the winner!
And if you do this with a bunch of different things that you're scared of, or maybe not even scared of, but just might be difficult, you're learning a lot more than you think. And you're learning how to orientate yourself in the world, in a world that's very confusing and pushes men to not be great men. It's really, it's unfortunate that society's trying to do this to men. But again, you just gotta find something that's hard and just find something to be good at. Now, again, exercise, probably the easiest thing. This literally could be anything. Guitar, a video game even, preferably not a video game, but I guess any instrument, your job. And when you're at your work, your job, you should always be working your hardest. And there's a lot of benefits that come with working very hard for young men, and I guess for everyone. But I think a huge thing that comes when you work hard is a sense of accomplishment, which a lot of people lack, and which really makes you view yourself more valuable in your own eyes. And society views you as more valuable when you're a hard worker as well. So when I worked at Supas in my town, when I was 16, I was a delivery driver, but I also cleaned dishes, made pizza boxes. I closed, so I had to clean the store. I had small responsibilities. You might think they're very small compared to a lot of people's, which that might be true, but you got to remember, I'm a 16-year-old boy. I need any responsibility to really help myself grow. And now when I worked, I really wanted my boss, who was probably in his late 30s, I wanted him to view me as an adult, but I'm 16. I just got my license. I'm just driving around delivering pizzas and dishwashing and doing other things. But I was able to work hard in that, and I had a lot of fun there too, because I liked the people that I worked with, and the people I worked with worked hard too, and we got a lot done. And it was a blessing for me, because, you know, no one really looks forward to going into work, but when you get to work and you see coworkers that you love and people you enjoy being around, it makes your day so much better.
Wow. You nailed it. How much?
But the whole point of that, like I was saying, is that it's rare that at a job where mostly 16 to 18-year-olds are working, many people are working hard. That is pretty rare. I guess I got lucky where most kids working there were working pretty hard. Some weren't, obviously, but most were, and our boss really respected us because of that. And I mean, I didn't get any raises from that, but in a job, if you're working hard most of the time, you're going to get a raise. You might get promoted. You might have more responsibility, but you might make more money because of it. There's a lot of benefits to working hard. And again, the sense of accomplishment you get when you work hard, when you know you did something that's hard, when you get good at something, anything, it really boosts your morale, makes you happier, gives you value to yourself, and it really gives you a will to live. And I think that is going to be the end of the episode. I really appreciate you guys listening to me. I hope to hear some feedback from you all. I love doing these podcasts. It's like 10:30, but I'm just here. I'm recording this. So again, I hope you guys all have a great morning, day, or night whenever you're listening to this. So thank you again. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, that's all. So have a great day. See you later.